Some people enter a room and immediately evaporate. They talk over others and demand attention, yet the atmosphere remains unchanged. Others enter in total silence, and the room stops in perfect unison to acknowledge their presence. Loudness is often a mask for a lack of weight. When you prioritize being noticed or scramble to please a crowd, you broadcast that the room has more power over you than you have over it. 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli analyzed this phenomenon, identifying that a commanding presence is not a lucky genetic accident. It is an engineered psychological asset. This aura is the ability to trigger human threat and attraction sensors at will. It is a system of behaviors that forces the world to respect your value before a single word is spoken. Human biology categorizes strangers in seconds. Before logic ever enters the conversation, the primitive brain has already decided if you are a dominant force to be respected or a minor figure to be ignored. This starts with the discipline of posture. An insecure mind manifests in a body shrinking inward, while a mind at ease dictates that the shoulders open and the limbs claim maximum space. The speed of your movement tells the same story. A person who feels small moves with a hurried, anxious pace. A person who owns the room walks with a slow, deliberate weight, proving they are not being rushed by the environment. This visual broadcast is finalized by your attire. This isn't about vanity or luxury labels. It's a sharp, intentional presentation, signaling self-respect that others are forced to recognize. This initial visual strike creates a filter. It signals to the subconscious of everyone in the room that you are an individual who is not easily manipulated or dismissed. Machiavelli warned that oversharing turns a leader into a commoner. When you volunteer your daily struggles, your half-formed plans, or your insecurities, you become predictable. And the predictable are eventually controlled. Silence acts as a psychological shield. By withholding information, you create a void that others feel compelled to fill. They begin to guess at your depth, projecting their own fears and respect onto your mystery. The rule is to show the result, but never the labor. Hide the sweat, the panic, and the effort. When you present only the finished victory, your power appears effortless and absolute. This creates a perceived scarcity. When data about you is limited, the human imagination tends to inflate your value. You stop being a source of information and become a subject of curiosity. Mastering this information void makes you a high-stakes puzzle. It forces others to invest their mental energy into figuring you out, shifting the balance of power in your favor. A polished appearance and a mysterious demeanor are only the surface. They will be tested. If those tests aren't met with an unyielding response, the entire aura collapses. While most people laugh off subtle disrespect to avoid conflict, a Machiavellian presence responds with a calm, unwavering correction. Conflict is not feared. It is used as a tool to establish the cost of crossing you. Machiavelli argued it is safer to be feared than loved. In a modern social context, this fear is simply the knowledge that your respect is hard-earned and easily lost. By explicitly defining your standards for truth, loyalty, and self-worth, you build a psychological perimeter. Others realize instinctively that their manipulation and drama will simply bounce off your resolve. This unyielding stance creates an aura of danger. It proves you have zero tolerance for being handled and possess the discipline to walk away from situations that don't meet your standards. Observe the people who try the hardest to be the center of attention. Their constant activity is an admission that they need the room's approval to feel valid. Tying your identity to how a group perceives you turns you into a psychological slave. The moment you need their validation, you surrender the very power required to command them. The shift occurs when you stop scanning the room for approval and start focusing entirely on your own growth. You become a predator focused only on the mission. When you operate with such absolute self-assurance that you no longer bend to fit the world's expectations, the world begins to adapt its reality to fit yours. This is where the external tactics, the posture, the silence, and the boundaries finally align. They are not just tricks to manipulate others. They are the external evidence of someone who has achieved total mastery over themselves.